Hey, hi, hello, and welcome. I'm Court. This is Reading with Court, and we are here for another Hercyed update. I haven't done an update since August. I meant to do one in September, but September I slumped pretty hard, and I think doing this monthly will definitely get a little bit repetitive. And since I'm trying to do only one video a week, I don't want one of those videos to always be slotted as a check-in. I will be doing check-ins every other month. So this is my second check-in, and let's see where I'm at. All right, so we have my bingo board here, and since our last check-in, which was in August, I have completed one prompt. I have actually completed the 24-hour readathon prompt, which I think is pretty cool to say at, 3 months, 4 months in that I have managed to complete something. Let me put this back at 100. In my tracker here, you can see I've read 1, 2, 3, nope, too far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 more books since the August check-in. And this one, Dungeon Crawler Carl, I am currently in the process of reading, so it technically doesn't count yet, but it is factored in to a couple different things. We are going to skip over the stats in the calculator because that stuff's not as interesting right now in the middle. But we will jump into By the Hundreds. So, in the By the Hundreds page, I have added Promised Neverland, which was a manga that I read actually yesterday, and Zodiac Academy: The Awakening. Actually, hold on, I now need to double check myself. Yes, I had to make sure where I left off because my reading order's all screwed up in my own head. I only have 3 more prompts for this one. I think the 300 is obviously going to be pretty easy because I read 300 to 400 page books all the time. I just either haven't yet or I haven't found one that kind of fits with what I'm working on. 600 and 700 might be a little trickier. You can see down here I've got Crescent City locked in for the 700. I probably have a 600 page book on my shelves somewhere. If I don't, I think I'll be able to find one. I know the Games God's Play was over 600 pages, I think, and that sequel comes out pretty soon, so I think I should be able to find a book. Well, not find a book, I'm saying I'm pretty sure I will be able to fit that in for the 600, assuming it is of similar length as its predecessor. Then you can see highlighted in green here, I have my 24-hour readathon. So I did this in August. There's a vlog for it. If you haven't watched it, I will link it down below. But in the course of that vlog, I read 3 books. I read Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle, I read Cinder by Marissa Meyer, and I read Roll for Romance by Lenora Woods. So it took me, pretty much the whole day. I read for 16 hours. I did take a nap. I remember that. I got a prompt done, which I feel is pretty cool. Under subgenres of choice, most of this was already filled in the last time we talked, but I did add Morning Glory Milking Farm as a monster romance. And I still can't believe I read that book in a day. So here we are. Moving right along, we have my series Staircase. I have to check again. Okay, I had read those. Sorry, my brain can't remember where we left off. So I haven't counted a standalone yet. I have read some, but nothing that I've locked into this slot yet because nothing has fit. I haven't read any more of the Gravekeeper series, but I will be reading that this year because I want to finish it, especially now that the whole series is on my physical shelves because I bought it for my birthday. The duology, I have House of Bane and Blood and City of Mirth and Malice. There are rumors I've heard that these will be longer than just a duology, but I aggressively researched and that has not been officially announced, so I'm counting it. And since it is as of my time of completing a duology, I'm leaving it there and no one can tell me otherwise. Trilogy, I don't have anything yet, but I do have some options here. I think these are the same options I had before, and I probably am going to use the Ruinous Love trilogy because I now own that physically. I got it in a wishlist gifting event on one of the servers that I'm a part of. Award season, I haven't read anything new. I still need to find a couple semifinalists for the Goodreads Choice Awards. This page could change in a heartbeat. It all just depends on what the vibes are. It depends on who the winners and finalists are for this year's Goodreads Awards. I still think this will be one that I can pretty easily get through. Next, we have the TBR Game Challenge, which I made this page bigger so the book covers can fit. I have read 2 out of 5 books. I actually changed. Last time we talked, this was supposed to be an Emily Henry book, but because there was no lock of like, these are the books I have to use, it was just ideas. This is now like, it was kind of like, I read this book, it was single POV, I can fit it there instead. I still have 3 to read here. Wild Love will probably get read early next year because I want to focus on reading Elsie Silver's books in 2026. Love on the Brain, I bought for myself for my birthday. And Blood and Steel, like Legends of Esmar, is a book that I'm really interested in, or a series that I'm really interested in getting to. So I do think that these are still realistic choices. We also have my audio of The Third Gilmore Girl. Moving right along into the last 10 years, I only added 6 Scorched Roses to this list. Once I finish Dungeon Crawler Carl, which will be probably sometime this week, that will slot into 2020. But I do think a lot of these are going to be able to be filled in relatively easily. I just need to start using this page because I've been going for if a book fills more of the obscure prompts, for lack of a better word. I've been putting it there instead because I think those ones are going to be a little bit harder to fill than the publication year prompts. And we have adaptations. I've read and watched absolutely nothing, but I think this is going to be something I really buckle down and work on when I don't have college going on. So probably during my December break, and then in late May and June, I'll be working on getting a lot of the watching for this done, because I would like to watch and read for every prompt, because the bonus points would be nice for tripling up, especially in some of these things where I don't know if I have the time to read enough books to get to it. Next is Disability Challenge. I have 2 books slotted in. I have Cinder for an amputee/burn victim. This counts as a physical disability. It also, in the lens of the story, is very disabling to her. And then I have Soul Searching by Lila Sage for depression. I don't think thinking back, I don't know if they ever actually diagnose her. The main character seems to very much have it in a lot of the things that she says and shares. Heritage Months, I am slacking. I meant to get a book in for Hispanic Heritage Month, and I wasn't able to. I plan to read some Stephen Graham Jones next month, so that should fit Indigenous Heritage. The rest I might have to do a little more like looking for and making sure I prioritize these, because I am a little bit nervous about this, considering I have read absolutely nothing. Translation Challenge, I still have none of these filled in other than my manga, but I went to the National Book Fest in September, and I don't remember her name, but the author of Tender is the Flesh was there, and hearing her speak made me more interested in reading her books. So I plan on reading at least one of her books. I plan on reading both Tender is the Flesh and The Unworthy, but one of them will fit in here. And then I have enough options that I could fill the rest in. I just need to, again, prioritize reading them. Around the World, I'm in the same place where I left off, but I'm still not too worried about this one. I might need to search a little bit more to get a prompt for Africa. So if you have recommendations, I would greatly appreciate it. The Even Bigger Rainbow is cruising. I have plans for purple. I think I have plans for yellow. Silver and gold should be easy. I clearly already have a blue. This prompt will be most likely done by my next check-in in December. Make a quote. Haven't touched it. I have plenty of options. I think I have just about every word slotted out, but I need to... It's funny because you think I have such simple words. Every time I read, I'm like, oh, that's gotta be there. It's never there, but we'll get there. I have faith in myself. Hopefully you guys have faith in me too. But we will get this quote, and worst case scenario, I will switch my quote if I don't have anything filled in by the time I do my next check-in. Spooky creatures, I am just about done with. I think this whole half I had in before. I'll be using the Vengeful Dead for spirits. I used a Zodiac Academy book for Siren because it featured the Siren character a lot in that one. Minotaur for other creature. I think I'm grasping at straws here, but it's a huge spoiler, but basically there are something I classify as a zombie in the Promised Neverland manga, so I'm counting it. Next we have Become the Avatar. I already had Air of Fire, but I have added my Air cover image because if you look closely at this cover, it's like blowing the curtain through the window, and I'm jumping out on a limb to say that that is air on the cover because what is wind if not nature's air? Readathon challenge. I did the Readathon Rebellion in September and I did not complete it at the time. However, I did put all of my TBR in here. So all 4 of these books, House of Bane and Blood, Six Scorched Roses, Ruthless Fae, and A Blue Ribbon Romance, were all read as part of the Readathon Rebellion. And then I also will need to, at some point before the end of the challenge, read The Wind Weaver, The Twisted Dead, Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, and The Tenet. That will complete my pre-established Readathon Rebellion TBR. Al had given me some loopholes to say it was complete, so in eyes of the Readathon, I did complete it, but I felt guilty rigging that for this as well. So and these are all books I do plan on reading, so it didn't matter to me that I had to fit them in. Animals, I have not read a lot of. Let me delete this because I don't. Okay. But right now, since I'm reading Dungeon Crawler Carl and there is Princess Donut the Cat, that will fit for house pets. I'm hoping to fit some of these in here. I'm going to do it. It's just a matter of if I get it done naturally or if I have to search things out. So definitely looking for recommendations on this prompt. This one makes me mad at myself. I have not filled in anything on this page. That's not saying I have not read books that could qualify. I just have been putting them in other slots instead. I'm going to be trying to find these prompts or this representation in my reading because I have been reading, gay, lesbian, bisexual stories. Some of them I have not, like this whole half, not half, more than half. These parts I have not really come across as naturally, but I do plan on figuring it out and getting into the whole thing of it. Worst case scenario, I will reread The Charlie Method by L. Kennedy and use it for polyamory, but I really don't want to have to do that. Not that it was a bad book, just I would like to read new representation and not fall back on what is comfortable. Favorite Hercyed prompt, I am doing an entire series with 4 more books. I haven't started it yet, but I do plan on reading Neon Gods in the next couple of months. And with Katie Robert, I usually, once I jump into her books, I live there for a while. So I do have a feeling that once I read the first book by her in the series, I'm going to just want to dive in and keep going. So I'm not particularly worried about this. BIPOC challenge, I have gotten 1 more author added from last time. I have added Kimberly Lemming, the author of the Amazon short story, My Boyfriends Are All Monsters. She is Black, so I was able to do that. And I do want to read more Black authors. And I feel like I just haven't been counting them for this, or I haven't thought to look it up because I kind of forget to factor in the author's representation when I'm reading, which really says a lot about my privilege and is something that I am aware I need to work on. And I plan on, in the rest of this challenge, doing better about that because it's an area that I need to improve, and I know that. For new releases, I'm doing great. This one I am on top of, and technically I'm ahead. So Silver Elite was a May 2025 release that I read in early June, so I was able to count it here. I read Roll for Romance in August, so it was within the deadline. Lucky Day by Chuck Tingle, I read on the last possible day I could have read it. And Soul Searching, I read like 4 days after the release. And then Mate and Brimstone, I plan on reading in November. So I will be on top of this, and I just need to keep tracking. Actually, I can add this here because my girl Elle is coming out with a new book in March. And if you know anything about me as a person, I will be reading that within the week of its release, considering I am completely caught up and all that. I would like Wicked Games 3 to be my December pick, but they haven't even announced the titles. I don't know if it's still coming out in December. I hope it is because I love that series, but we'll see. I'll figure out stuff to fill in. I'll be watching anticipated release videos as they come out, adding stuff in, and I'm excited to see where we go because I'm very proud of myself for keeping up with this. Because I think if I messed up and somehow lost any of these, I would end up quitting the whole challenge because it's not really something I can make up unless I get enough points to drop a prompt number, which realistically, this is not the one I want to drop a prompt number on. For Challenge Yourself, I need to complete 10 series. Now, I have taken this a step further for myself. I'm not counting duologies because reading 2 books is easy. I'm also trying my best to only count it if it is confirmed complete, or if they know a sequel is coming, but it hasn't been announced. So that's been another factor in this not being done yet, but I'll get there because I'm trying to prioritize series reading, and I was just redoing prompts for my TBR game today, and there's a lot of prompts in there for series-related things. Nonfiction challenge, I've read a memoir. I plan on reading Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green because I did buy that. Wow, we need to wrap it. I did buy that at National Book Fair. Also, someone in the comments of my last update did give me a lot of nonfiction recommendations. I just forgot to write them down because of who I am as a person. But I do plan on going back to that comment and writing those down and like what their genre is. I also want to read some like stuff that would help with work. I also have to read this entire textbook for a class, and the way it's written, it's not very textbooky. It does read more like a book. So if I successfully read this the way I'm supposed to, I will be counting it for Hercyed. I can probably honestly fit it in something else as well. Is using a textbook cheating? I don't know, but I'm probably going to do it. And then for cues, reviews, and recommendations, I have read Bury Your Gaze, and I fully agreed with everything that Q said about it. And I plan on, at this time, my picks are going to be Blood Over Brighthaven for a mini review and 5 Broken Blades for a full reading vlog. I do plan on looking to see if anything has changed or if she has added more prompts in the time. My brain just stopped working. If she's added more prompts since I did set this up, and see if there's something that I'm more forward-facing in reading about, but we'll see. And that's spreadsheet. I am still optimistic that I will finish this challenge. I just need to keep on reading. I got through the September slump, which is, anyone who is a teacher does experience the September slump. But yeah, here's Hercyed. Thank you for tuning in and checking out my spreadsheet with me and seeing where I'm at in this journey that I know a bunch of people on BookTube are taking. If you have any recommendations for any of those blank spots that I am still kind of struggling through, please do not hesitate to let me know. Like, comment, message me, send a smoke signal. I don't care. I am looking for recommendations. I want to read these things. I just have not been diversifying as much as I would like to. But if you have made it this far and don't really have anything to say in the comments, please leave another rainbow emoji, which I think is going to just be my go-to for Hercyed. But yeah, leave a rainbow in the comments down below. I hope you're having a wonderful wherever you are, and happy time zone.